Hey guys, this is the mind of Lilith, and thank you for joining me today for part 2 of my commentary about Melody and Martell's custody issues. Yesterday I stated that, I forgot some points yesterday when I made my initial commentary because, I forgot some points. I forgot the conversation that Melody had with Miss Marlene about Martell asking for full custody, right? In season 2, when Melody spoke to Miss Marlene in the kitchen of her home and she had made some sort of pot roast, she was like, yeah, Martell's, and Miss Marlene was like, I don't want you guys to get a divorce. And Melody said, yeah, I'm not in love with him anymore, blah, blah. She asked Melody if she was still in love with Martell, and Melody said no, she's not in love with him, but she still has love for him. And then she was like, he's asking for full custody of the kids, right? And Miss Marlene said, what? No. Because they both laughed. They both laughed because they knew that if Martell got full custody of those kids, that Miss Marlene was going to take those kids. And she would be the primary custodian or a dominant grandparent in that situation. Both of them laughed at the same time because both of them knew how Martell is and how Martell would not be taking on the majority of the parenting duties as a single parent. I forgot that point, right? In season 2. In episode 11, Martell kept complaining about how tired he was. He's tired, raising 4 kids is tiring. And Miss Marlene said, well, you made your bed, you got to lay in it, right? Those are not her kids. She's not going to be the step grandparent, okay, for Martell. Martell chose to divorce. Martell chose to cheat on his wife, right? Martell is choosing to get full custody. So now Martell will have to watch the kids by himself. And Miss Marlene is adamant about that. I am sure that when Martell has those kids for his 2 weeks of the month, Miss Marlene is doing a lot of child rearing for them. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. If Martell is doing something else besides jumping from female to female, there's nothing wrong with that. If he's working and taking care of bills, it would make sense that grandma would be a babysitter, right? It's not always ideal, but that's what it is. Okay. But if Martell is out here thotting and bopping with different females, then that would be an issue. And that brings me to another point that I forgot about. So yesterday I said that I did not believe that money was a significant factor in Martell's attempts to get custody of his children. I said it was tertiary. It was the third reason. First reason was hurting Melody. Second reason was control. The third reason was money. But then I forgot again that Martell stole $17,000 from Melody. And I was thinking about the conversation that they had in the conference room in season 2 when they were trying to figure out how they were going to break up the assets. Martell said that he wanted a piece of Melody's skincare line, Embrace Beauty. And he was like, she was wrong for not wanting to give him a piece of the company that he helped to bring about. And what did Martell do? Exactly. What did Martell do to help Melody's skincare line come into fruition? Because why couldn't he do the same thing for himself or his wine company? What is he talking about? So he was like, why would you not want to give me a piece of something that I helped to bring about? What did he do? So he felt entitled to whatever Melody was going to bring in because he helped to build her brand. That's what he said to himself. Martell told Melody that basically, he was entitled to a percentage of everything that she earned because they both helped to build their brand. And if it wasn't for the work that they had done together, then there would be no Melody Holt's brand. Meanwhile, in the past year, we have seen Melody bust her ass and start from nothing to build everything that she has now without Martell's help. As a matter of fact, Martell was obstructionist in her efforts to build her brand, right? He was stressing her out. He was stealing money from her, okay? He was lying on her, trying to ruin her brand. He still feels entitled to what Melody is bringing in. Then I remember in season 3, when Chris came to Melody first about the 47 acres deal, and the developers wanted her to work on the project because she had the builder's license, Martell got mad and tried to poach the deal from behind her back and basically tried to get Chris to ask Marceau to work on the deal with his builder's license, and he would be the wingman, or he would be working on the project with them. He tried to take money out of Melody's mouth, right, on multiple occasions, even after he asked Melody in the conference room not to do anything to mess with his financial opportunities. So now here he is, a couple years after the divorce, asking for full custody, right? After Melody was gracious enough not to ask for child support, not to ask for alimony, not to ask for anything, not even sue him for the 17 grand, even though she probably couldn't win because he filed for bankruptcy right afterwards, not to sue him for the money that he stole from her to pay for his mistress. She did all that for him, for his benefit, to protect him from the consequences of his actions. And now he turns around and tries to sue her because he says that she's trying to destroy him. She's trying to destroy him even after she didn't ask for alimony, didn't ask for child support, didn't sue him for the money that he stole from her, didn't sue her for the money that he spent on his mistress, right? She's still trying to hurt him, okay? This is why I said a few weeks ago I did not want Melody going on vacation with Martell. And I'm not mad at her for doing it. I know why she did it. Because she felt like she wanted to have some peace with her ex-husband for the sake of her children. But he probably saw that fucking G-Wagon, okay? Saw her splurging on shit, okay? Paying for chefs and shit, okay? Paying for vacation houses on the beach for her own fucking money, right? Without having to ask him for a dime. Did all that within a year of divorcing him. Worked her behind off in the studio recording music. Okay, producing her skincare line, the lipstick line that she has, the property management courses that she has. Okay, she is trying to make sure that she is where she used to be when she was married to Martell. She's trying to make sure that this rock-headed idiot does not sabotage her life. Okay, because that's what he tried to do. If you marry or have a child with the wrong person, that person can ruin your whole life potentially if you don't have control over your shit. Right? A lot of women and men get ruined by the wrong partner. Melody said, oh, hell no. I will not allow this fool and his incompetence and his lack of discipline and his selfishness and his cruelty and his sadism. I will not allow this man to ruin my life. So let me build my shit up from scratch. All of it. And then because she's a nice person, right? She kind of wanted to floss a little bit, I'm sure. Because she's a nice person, she said, you know what? I'm going to be nice to Martell. I'm going to invite him on vacation with us because I want the children to see their parents in the united front, right? I want the children to not feel like they're cut in the middle or they're split in half by the situation. I wouldn't be surprised if her therapist suggested that she do this. I'm not saying that she did, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was a suggestion by her therapist. But as I said before, Martell is a narcissist. You cannot be nice to a narcissist. You cannot give a narcissist hope. You cannot give a narcissist an opportunity to be around you to see how you doing what you do, because they will weaponize that against you. I am sure that Martell is salty as F, that Melody is making more money than him. Because I'm like, that's so, I'm not going to say bitch made, but yeah, I'm like, because most men don't really care about the money as much as they want the power and control. But I forgot Martell's double earth. I forgot that he stole money from her. I forgot that he wanted a piece of her brand because he felt like without him being there, there would be no Melody Holt. And Melody was like, I was been doing this in college. Okay? I was at the top of my class before I even met you. In high school and in college. I helped your ass to graduate. I got the builder's license. What are you talking about? What has Martell done to demonstrate that he is the one who helped build Melody's brand? Him being a cheater did not help Melody's brand, okay? That hurt Melody to the core. And a lesser woman would have been destroyed by it. Most women would have been destroyed by the way that Martell treated Melody. Destroyed. The way he tried to do her dirty. Everybody saw this. Even people who didn't like her said, this is effed up. So all of a sudden now, him cheating on her helped build her brand. basically, right? Because if it wasn't for the show and you putting my business out there, then guess what? Nobody would know about what I did, and nobody would be in your corner supporting you because if you throw me under the bus. This is why in season 3, Martell said you planned our divorce. He wanted to act like Melody intentionally sabotaged the marriage so that she can use the platform to rebrand using his infidelity as a storyline. The problem with that is Melody warned Martell several times prior to filing for divorce that she was going to file for divorce. Before the show even started, they were separated without the cameras, and Martell still was cheating, okay? On camera, Melody said, I'm filing for divorce. She met with a divorce attorney on camera in season 2, I believe, okay? So, yes, Melody planned for this divorce, but she didn't plan for you to get this chick pregnant, right? She made sure her ducks were in a row because she knew you were a block-headed idiot. She knew you couldn't help yourself. She knew you had no discipline. She knew you had no self-control. So you know what? Because I can't control this man, I can only control myself. So by controlling myself, I'm going to make sure my paper's on point. I'm going to make sure I have my affairs in order because I can see my life is about to collapse. Not because of me, but because I married the wrong person. I married a narcissist and I did not know because I was 22 years old. So because I have no control over this man, right? The only thing I have control over is myself. I'm going to make sure my shit is together. Okay. So guess what? I will leave everything that I've built. I'm a Tina Turner this. All I want is my name. Okay. You can have the businesses. You can have the side baby. You can have the money you stole from me. You can take everything, the furniture, everything. Take everything. All I want is myself and my dignity. Because guess what? I did it before and I can rebuild myself again. I mean, if Martell built Melody, then he should be able to build another Melody. Then do that. But he doesn't want another Melody, right? Because another Melody would make him look small again. He wants another submissive boss. A woman who has her own money, beauty, clout, and this. But he wants her to submit to him and build him up. And believe in him more than he believes in himself so that he can step on her when he gets to the top, right? And treat her as if he's doing her a favor by being faithful to her, right? Or by being in a relationship with her. So I'm going to correct what I said yesterday. I don't think that money is a tertiary concern of his. I think it's secondary. His primary concern is still controlling and hurting Melody, right? But the secondary concern is money. It is money. Because of everything I just laid out, him stealing money from her, him trying to block her from financial opportunities, him requesting her financial records, right, and getting even more jealous and vicious after he saw how big her beach house was and how nice her car is and her going on vacations and not needing a man to do this or a sponsor, right? I'm going to reconsider my position on this. I think money is also important for him. But I'm like, damn, that's a whole move right there. How are you going to sue the mother of your children who did not sue you for alimony or child support or the money you stole from her during the marriage or the money you stole from her during the divorce, but you want to sue her? So this is what Martell said, and I got this from Lipstick Alley because somebody posted it in the thing. I'm not a member yet of Lipstick Alley because I'm a lurker, but they have a lot of tea on that forum, and so here we go. Somebody posted a screenshot because I don't have access to Martell's social media. I don't deal with that. Okay, so Martell said, Melody, please leave me alone. You moved on. I moved on. Stop attempting to destroy me. How is she attempting to destroy you when she let you off the hook after you have verbally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, and financially abused her during your marriage? I say sexually because, like I said before, trying to guilt a woman into giving you oral sex every single day and weaponizing your fidelity against her and saying, if you don't do this for me, if you don't give your body and your mouth to me every single day like a slave, I'm going to hurt you emotionally. That is sexual abuse to me. Getting another woman pregnant back to back, having unprotected sex with another female while you're married to your wife, that's also sexual abuse. So he abused her on every single level, but somehow she's trying to destroy him. Okay, so Martell then says, we have 4 beautiful children together. Stop going live and doing interviews if you don't want to speak positive about the father of your 4 children. So you want her to lie on you and act like you're something that you're not? Didn't Martell lie to Dr. Heavenly and tried to insinuate that Melody had an abortion because she was sleeping with somebody else and didn't know who the father was. Didn't he lie on her when he did that? And then we come to find out that she had an abortion because he was still cheating and she realized that he wasn't going to change. Didn't he do that? Didn't Martell go on social media and basically insinuate that Melody was not washing the kids, she wasn't watching them either, and that Marcus was abusing them? Didn't he insinuate that on top of that? Didn't Martell lie on Melody and say that he was a dominant parent, right? And he was the primary breadwinner in their relationship, and that wasn't true either? He was trying to make it seem like she was a bad mother, neglecting her children. Didn't he do that too? Right? So because she wasn't going to be his Stepford wife, she's now a bad mother. There's no middle ground, right? Either you're going to be at home cooking and cleaning every single day and giving me blowjobs every single day, or you're a horrible mother. There's no compromise, right? Then he said, I have not spoken negatively or about you lately, even when asked about you. Maybe I missed it, but when has Melody spoken negatively about Martell at all? As a matter of fact, people in the audience like myself, we're still finding out the horrible things that has happened to her during their relationship years later. That's how much she's protected him, okay? She's protected him so much that we assumed that he had the builder's license. We didn't even know that he got his mistress pregnant 3 times, okay? We didn't even know that he had his children sleeping on air mattresses until years later. When did Melody say anything negative about Martell? She's still protecting him, right? But Martell had gone out of his way over the past year to talk shit about his ex. So even when Melody was being tormented by Martell behind the scenes, and she did not disclose this information to anybody, right? She was protecting him. But now that she's telling the truth about what's happened, she's not lying on him, right? She's not falsifying information. Like, I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me when she spoke negatively about him. Melody, stop lying about court and custody, and even the little childish Martell forgot to make the kids lunch. Lol. I told my kids they were eating at school, in which lots of kids do. Why, Mr. Dominant Parent? Why can't you make your kids lunch for school? You're the dominant parent, right? Now, I'm not saying that you're a good or a bad parent whether or not you make your kids lunch for school. That's whatever, okay? Especially if you're paying tuition. They should be able to eat at school. It is what it is, right? But a lot of parents pack their kids' lunch. And for Martell to brag about being such a good father, why aren't you packing your children lunch, Martell? Mr. Dominant Parent? Why not? Because Melody had no problem doing it, since you want to compare yourself to her and say you were the dominant parent, which means that she was not as dominant and she wasn't doing her job. So why aren't you doing more than she is? Not to make it a competition, but that's what he started. This is what Martell started. I'm talking to him and you guys at the same time. That's weird. But this is what Martell started, right? I told my kids they were eating. Okay, I'm 2-0 in court. I don't know what that means because I don't believe him. And she's 0-2. He says my attorney is 4-0 against her attorney. What attorney? The same attorney that did not have you bring your financial records to court? That attorney? I'm also, okay, let me see. The courtroom isn't social media. It judges unconditionally. I'm also suing Melody for falsely accusing me of abusing my son and kids. He wants money. So you want money from the woman you stole money from, who you don't pay child support to, who you don't pay alimony to, who you did not allow to take her furniture from her home to take care of your children. You're suing for that. Melody, if he sues you for this, I hope you sue him for the money that he was given to Arion while he was married to you. You're going to have to do that. She stated that I hit my son 25 times and hit him on the head and made him bleed. She didn't contact me to ask what really happened. Well, did you beat your son? Did you spank him? I wouldn't put it past Martell to spank his child. Now, corporal punishment is not necessarily abuse, okay? Yes, children get spankings. You spare the rod, spoil the child. There's a difference between the spanking and abuse. I don't know. I'm going to leave that alone, okay? Because I don't know exactly what happened in that situation. But I doubt that Melody would lie on Martell maliciously because she's worked really hard to co-parent with him. So all of a sudden now she's irrational and looking for excuses to take custody from him. No. She didn't contact me to ask what really happened. She contacted her attorney and took my kids away from me. Now you're crying. Okay, so were you crying when you chose not to see your kids for more than 56 days? Because during the divorce, right, Martell said that he didn't have the money to take care of his kids, so he didn't want to see them, right? So Melody said she was basically with the kids on Christmas and holidays, right? He missed their birthdays or their holidays, I believe, in 2020, I believe, during the pandemic. Right after the divorce, he was broke, so he didn't take the kids, right? He did not honor the custody agreement. So I don't know how long he didn't see his children, but he said he was broke and he was ashamed and he could not do with his children the things he was used to doing because he was now broke. So were you crying then when you did not see your children because you were broke? Or were you only crying now because Melody did not allow you to see them after one of your children said you spanked them, right? Because I'm sure that Melody wasn't over there asking for information. I'm sure the kids volunteered this information to her. And as far as like the bleeding and stuff like that, I don't know. Like, were there scars and welts on the baby? I have no idea. But Martell did not honor the custody agreement when they first got separated because he was broke. So now he wants to sue her because she deprived him of seeing his children for almost 2 months. But he didn't see them for several months after they divorced. Melody was paying all the tuition. She was taking care of the kids' hair, buying the kids' clothes, paying the bills at Martell's house, right? After he stole money from her and did not allow her to take the furniture from her home to her new home, so the kids were sleeping on the floor. All this shit happened, but all of a sudden now he loves his kids so much that he couldn't bear to see them for 2 months, right? Okay, it's about money. I won in court because she lied. No, maybe Melody did not have enough evidence to prove her case. But why would she lie on you all of a sudden? She had so many opportunities. Melody has so many opportunities to throw Martell under the bus. All of a sudden now she's a wicked witch of the West. All right. So Martell said this was the reason I wasn't filming with her starting in January. And then he said, not about to run another storyline on me. She didn't run nothing on you. You refused to stop cheating. So therefore you became the storyline because she's like, this is my life. I am not going to stay married to a narcissist who is disrespecting me, who is using me for my builder's license, for my intellect, for my work ethic, and basically weaponizing his mistress against me and in using my gifts to enrich himself and my enemy. I'm not doing that. So you know what? Since you want to keep doing it, since you want to keep cheating, keep the same energy on camera as you do off camera. Okay? Keep doing your dirt. Now it's going to be part of the show because it's part of my life. It's a reality show, right? Since you don't want to stop and you used the show to get me to come back when you had no intention to stop cheating, guess what? I'm going to put all your shit on blast. All of it. Not to punish you, but to liberate me. I need to be free from this abuse. This is not fair. I'm not going to be swallowing this on camera because you want me to keep making you look good. Okay? I'm not going to protect your image while you destroy me behind the scenes. Get the fuck out of here with that. So then Martell says, she made me miss my baby girl Mariah and Malia's birthdays. Mariah used to cry to stay with me before those 56 days. Afterwards, she's cried twice because she missed her mom. I love that something allowed men to watch our children. And she said, I do what I want. Okay, months later, Marcus's husband was left alone watching my children. Not saying they're bad people, just saying that something Melody and I both were against initially. And fine, he may have a point there. He may not want certain people watching his children. I can understand that, and I get his point because we have a lot of, abusers in our community. Some are people in our family. Some are family friends. Some are uncles. Some are step-parents. It's anybody and everybody. And if I understand why he would be concerned about that. That is fair for him not to want his children to be watched by somebody who's not a blood relative. Even though blood relatives do dirt too, he has a point about that. But that's not enough to ask for full custody for. That's a conversation, not a lawsuit. Okay? All I ask is that I have the first right of refusal. Hell no. If she's unable to keep the kids during her time with them. Hell no. Did Melody have the first right of refusal when you basically brought this mistress into her life? Did she have the first right of refusal when you were out looking for hoes while you were married? Did you ask her for permission to sleep with who you wanted to sleep with? because that person could have diseases or mental health issues or want to destroy her too and bring danger to her home and destabilize her life and her children's life. Martell didn't give Melody any rights. When he was cheating on her, he didn't let her vet the woman or nothing. Do you know how many wives and children get abused and hurt by mistresses or injured or killed by mistresses? Did Martell consider that? Did he consider how his mistress would affect his home and his wife and his family and his children? Did Melody have the right to refusal then? Martell is not responsible enough for that, okay? And Martell will weaponize this against her. So Melody has the right to say, no, I will not give you that much control. But I do agree with his point that, there has to be really strict guidelines on who watches these kids. Because if something bad happens, God forbid, then they know who to hold accountable. But for him to ask her for first right of, it's like, I gotta ask you for permission to do what I gotta do to take care of my kids now that I'm a single mother? Is that what Martell's saying? I get the babysitting thing. You don't want a bunch of strangers watching your kids. Fine. I can respect that. Have a list of people, right? Come up with a list of people who are allowed to be alone with the children for more than 30 minutes at a time. That's something you can come to the table with without the courts, right? That should be something that is easily agreed upon. But Martell had his children around Ariane. And Ariane has expressed a level of hatred towards Melody that I would not feel comfortable as a mother with my children with somebody who hated me that badly. Martell brought a dangerous woman into Melody's life. I'm not saying Ariane physically attacked Melody, but Ariane is mentally unhinged. And Martell was allowing this lady to mentally and emotionally and verbally abuse his wife. First right to refusal, my ass. Who are you? Anyway, Martell continues by saying, this is something most moms would want, a supportive dad who loves their kids and would rather keep them than sending them to multiple people when mom is too busy. Mommy is too busy because she got to make money because she's a single mother and she's not getting any financial support from her baby daddy, her ex-husband. There's no alimony and child support, but there are 4 children who need to go to school, who need medical treatments, who need clothes, who need bills paid, who need extracurricular activities. There are certain things that children need, who need money for college, right? That has to be put aside too. She's planning for that also. She's building or rebuilding the legacy that Martell tried to destroy, okay, with his shenanigans. So she was like, you know what? I'm going to correct my mistake and get rid of the problem. And I'm going to do what I said I was going to do in college and when I was a kid and continue on to being a successful entrepreneur, period. And he's trying to act like Melody is some bitter ex that is preventing him from seeing his kids. But throughout the entire time, we've seen Melody work really hard to be fair with Martell, okay? Even in season 2 when they had the argument in the house and Martell was like, I'm going to file for full custody. And Melody said, I'm going to knock you in your fucking face. Why would you do that, right? She gave him 50-50 custody. Fair. I'm being fair to you. But no, he wants it all. He wants money too. He wants to take the money from her because he feels like he built her brand and he feels like she threw him under the bus by exposing that he was a fraud. He wasn't a businessman. He wasn't father of the year. He wasn't a great husband. He was somebody riding on her coattails. And so now he wants to punish her for that. This is why we are here today. Okay? So then Martell continues, we know that sometimes things may happen or come up when we have our kids, and that's okay. My issue is the excessiveness of different people watching our kids. Simple solution. Come up with a list of 3 people who are allowed to watch the kids for a certain amount of time. 1 babysitter, 1 relative, 1 nanny. I don't know. Okay? It is what it is. I have no idea how they're going to do this, but it's not impossible to negotiate this. If you guys knew the real Melody, you guys would unfollow and no longer be fans. Just like everybody that was once her friend are no longer her friend. God didn't tell you to go. He told everybody around you to go. Wait, hold up. Is that why Tisha and Destiny have been begging to be Melody's friend for the past couple of years? Is that why? Is that why you've been begging for Melody to come back to you and you still refer to her as your wife, as your property? Because you knew her better than anybody, according to you. Yet and still, Martell's tried to stall this divorce, right? He stalled it out. he's still bitter. He didn't want to sign the papers. He fired his attorney in the middle of the divorce proceedings, okay, to delay the divorce. Now he shows up in court for custody without any paperwork, but he knows the real Melody. Then a few weeks ago, he said he regretted what he did and he wished he could have his family back. If Melody was so damn bad, as she said, why does he still want to be with her? Why did he say he would just sit back and enjoyed the fruits of Melody's labor? Why did he say that if she was so damn bad? Melody is such a generous person, not just financially, but energetically, that people start to feel entitled to her shit because she gives of herself freely. So when somebody gives you something freely, a lot of people don't appreciate it. They take it for granted and think that they're entitled to it, right? So when Melody started to pull back a little bit from her friends and relatives, they got upset. How dare Melody protect her peace? How dare Melody not be the same person she used to be to us and not give us the same source of supply that we're used to? Fuck her feelings. Fuck her life falling apart. What about us? That is Martell. Forget my wife having to take care of 4 babies and run businesses. I want my meat sucked. How dare she not give me what I want? I'm entitled to her. I own her. She's my property, my object. If Melody wasn't worth shit, nobody would try to own her. Nobody would try to get custody of Melody if she wasn't worth anything. They wouldn't want to do anything with her. They would say, nah, she's a burden. She's a liability. She needs too much. But guess what? Turn around. People want her for fucking money. You're going to sue your ex-wife that you didn't pay child support for or alimony and you stole money from. Wow. The problem is people can see the real Martell. Okay? The problem is Melody is still thriving and striving and surviving and being successful without Martell. And Martell thinks that it's because she threw him under the bus or because of their story being on the reality show. Martell does not understand that Melody did not throw him under the bus by telling her story of how she was being abused. Just because he looks like the bad guy doesn't mean that it's her fault that he looks like the bad guy. He looks like the bad guy because he got somebody else pregnant for a 3rd time after his wife had their 4th child. Oops. At the same time she was pregnant. Oops. He's the bad guy because he stole money from her and then forced his children to sleep on air mattresses because he wouldn't let his ex-wife take her furniture out of their home. Oops. That's why you're the bad guy. That's why Martell's the bad guy, because of his own actions. He does not want to take accountability for anything. It is absurd. But this is why I said I did not want Melody going on vacation with him, because narcissists never change. Once they see you're truly unbothered and thriving and successful and beautiful and at peace, they get really angry because they're still miserable. And they didn't successfully break you the way they wanted to. And now they have no other tools to destroy you. How about you call Ariane and then ask her to call Melody and talk shit about her vagina again, bragging about how good you fucked her. You can do that. And then when Ariane gets off the phone with Melody, you can call Ariane and laugh at Melody the way you used to when you were married. You can do that. This is insane, but not unsurprising. This is not surprising. Okay, so many people accuse women of being bitter baby mama, bitter exes, but there are very bitter men out here. And in my opinion, a lot of husbands are more bitter than their wives. Even if they were the ones violating and doing the dirt, they're the ones who are bitter after the wife says, you do not have the right to treat me like this. I'm taking control and power back for myself and my life and my children. Fuck you. How dare you sue somebody that you stole money from and you tried to destroy? How dare you? But again, as I've told you guys before, this is how narcissists operate. As soon as you give them an inch, they will try to take your whole fucking arm. Okay? They want that pound of flesh. Martell wants his pound of flesh from Melody because she's winning and she's rich and she's pretty and she's young and she's desirable and she's wealthy and famous and everything that he wanted to be. Without the asterisk by his name. Nobody even knew that Melody accused Martell of abusing his son. She's been really hush-hush about everything, right? And Melody, again, has been very patient. She's been very disciplined. She's been very practical, very supportive, very fair to Martell throughout this whole process. After everything he's done to her, she has done nothing but be fair to him at the very least. And this is how he repays her, because he's not scared of her. He's not scared of Melody, because Melody has not fucked him up yet. She hasn't gone after him the way she could have. So he's not scared of her. And as long as he's not scared of her, guess what? He's going to continue to go after her, because he knows that she's not going to take his head off. He knows this. But I'm going to leave it there. I look forward to reading you guys' comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.